we are fed this diet that, we are the good guys and Iran are the bad guys. And they call us the great Satan because they're evil. They wake up every morning and they think about, ways to be evil, and they hate us for no reason. And that's not, surprisingly, that's not what happened. And
valid reasons.
there's valid. So the story that John and I've said many times goes back to everyone acts like the tensions between the United States and the Iranians happened in 1979. That's when that started. It started way before that. It started in 1953, back in 1950, Iran elected as their president or prime minister. I can't remember what the title was. It was a guy named Mohammad Mossadegh. And at the time, the Iranians were essentially like a province. Like they belonged to Great Britain. And the Brits were extracting the oil from Iran and through British Petroleum and just, taking the profits for themselves. And so when the Iranians elected Mossadegh had the crazy idea that, hey, how about instead of giving all this money to this tiny island 10,000 miles away, the money from the oil industry should go to the Iranian people, and we could nationalize it and build our nation up. And the Brits didn't like that. They didn't think that was very cash money of them. And so, but this was 1953, and it was shortly after World War II, for those of you who aren't history buffs. And Britain wasn't in a position to use a lot of force. They were, still cleaning up the rubble off their streets and everything and paying off debts. So they went running to Uncle Sam and they told Eisenhower that, hey, you guys need to help us out here. The Iranians aren't playing ball because we want to steal all of their resources and all their money. And by the way, the guy they elected, he said he wanted to nationalize the oil industry. That sounds a hell of a lot like communism to me. And so they're like, oh my God, we can't let this happen. And so we sent in, people to help overthrow Mossadegh, which is exactly what happened. And they installed the Shah of Iran, who was in power from basically a puppet dictator, for Western powers. And so he was in power for the next, 25 years or so. And the Iranian people revolted. You had the revolution of 1979. And that's when Americans started paying attention because they had the hostages and everything. But, the fact that we got Ayatollah Khomeini and the Islamic rule of the government is a direct result of the fact that we were meddling with the Iranians in the first place. And yeah, so yeah, sure. It's not a defense of the government of Iran, but we always seem to just easily dismiss our role in all this. And also, sorry for going on this, but whenever we had the nuclear deal, but that Obama did back in, 2014 or whatever, in which he said that, okay, so we are going to make a deal with the Iranians. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to have this deal where we have inspectors come and check your stuff out, make sure everything's clear. And Trump and the Republicans got mad because Obama gave them, hundreds of millions of dollars, which is not what happened, because back in 1979, we froze hundreds of millions of dollars of Iranian assets. And because until you guys play ball, you don't get the money back. Well, they played ball in 2014. We just gave them their money back, but Republicans acted like we were just handing out taxpayer dollars to these folks. And then Trump comes in office and overturns it. So now you're not going to have any deal with the Iranians. Why would they make another one with you when they know you just overthrow it in the first place? So yeah, it's shitty, and you keep bombing the folks like that. There's no good result that's going to come from all this. It's just it's like what John said. There's only so much this you can put up with.